Classic.
Nice,
you know, you can
indeed.
never go wrong with that.
Exactly. So then, we're going to see Yorel as the first van, fairly consistent. The one know what they want to avoid.
Right, Yorel, take that away again. Although Loktar has shown us a pretty decent blaze, you know, he still probably would have liked to pick the Yorel. Let's see what Genji... Oh, sorry, what BTG has to offer here. Genji, take it out. No Meng Genji. Too scary.
So now I'll probably see Maev banned out by at least one of these teams. Going to ban out the Phoenix. That's pretty fair, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks like Keshi is not the only good Phoenix player out there. The one, unfortunately, had to make that experience right here, right now. And they take away Mama Tyrande. Can't blame them. So, are we going to see a counter-response here with that Diablo? I mean, there's still other warriors, but Diablo Tyrande just is the scariest one that is available.
This is true. So Diablo taking that away would be decent. If not, then you're almost certainly going to have to ban it. So it's going to be Blaze and Reyna. They let the choice of tank go over to the one.
Looks like they're not scared of that Diablo Tyrande, but once again, this is not a must-have. And I'm pretty sure if Huoho has the chance of actually, you know, deciding which warrior to go to, he would probably choose Muradin. Yeah. I can't see him as that one Diablo main.
I mean, you'd be right. They've banned it 15 times, played it once, and lost. So this might just be straight up research done by BTG. How much do the one prioritize that Diablo? Not enough. Garrosh comes out slightly better. 7 wins, 2 losses, 77% win rate. But
what's his Muradin rate? Do you have that as well?
I can in a second. Yes, I do. It is 4-4.
Wow. Okay, not that good or not as good as I thought it would be. So Garrosh seems to be...
This is once again just this phase.
Okay, gotcha. Still, Garrosh, in terms of raw numbers, and numbers very rarely lie, you know, that is the most successful hero of this phase. Hanzo banned out again. Now, Cassia is like a preemptive pick here. Once again, right? It's good against Sergeant Hammer. It could be good against Illidan and some sort, like similar heroes like that. They ban out the Medivh. In fact, Beyond the Game is one of the few teams in China that very regularly likes to play it, with LLK being such a flexible player. Plays main tank every now and then, plays ranged assassin and specialists alike.
Yeah, LLK is
just a god.
Straight up a god. Yeah. He is so proficient on everything. They get that Diablo anyway. Druid gonna get his Malfurion here. This seems to be a almost go-to when you're against a Tyrande. It seems the Decade not being prioritized this time.
Can we say that LLK is like the rich of China? Is that a fair assumption, fair comparison?
I think that is... I mean, Rich is just so prolific that I would feel cautious about that. I'd say... I think I compared it last time to, like, Schwimpy.
Okay.
I think, like, just the amount of variation he has and the amount of things he can do just puts him up in, like, anyone's tier lists.
All right, so we're not going to touch our sacred... Rich. I'm cool with that, but comparison...
I mean, I would compare someone to Rich if they're, like, but not from HC China.
Who would you compare him to? Snitch?
Wobby.
Wobby? All right.
Yeah, I think Wobby is probably, like, the best player in the world, quite frankly.
All right. There we
If
go.
you take everything he does, his drafting, his play style, his shot calls, he is brilliant. As Zeratul, speaking of LLK, sneaks in here for BTG, and there's some squishy people on the side of the one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that could get heated here. I love the drafts, very action-paced. Once again, we see the Diablo coming through for 619 and LLK. I think that is going to be that was a nice camera shot because LLK is probably the equivalent of Meng over for the one. 2 lethal ranged assassin players, exceptionally gifted mechanically, but only one can reign supreme.
Only one will reign supreme indeed, but bringing it out, they have potential for the VP APOC combo. We have not seen that in quite a while. Twilight Dream could also fit in here. They've got so much wombo potential, and if not, they have Divide and Conquer strategies, Lightning Breath, Tranquility, Void Prism to just separate people. Maybe they'll even do, if you were watching Reddit recently, there was a thread put up of someone who was running a very, very cool Might of the Nerazim Zeratul build and just getting all the fancy plays like maximum teleportation.
I saw that one. It was a Korean Korean montage, wasn't it?
Exactly. And you just watch that and you're like, you make Zeratul look so good, but I know I can't do it.
Honestly,
so I can't imitate you.
Like when I watched that video, I thought it was just skipping frames. Like I didn't know what was going on. I thought, okay, is this just some sloppy editing or what's going on here? But that was literally the player's perspective, just making flashy plays left and right. One of the coolest videos I've seen in a while.
Completely agreed. It was a W-based build with Mighty the Nerazine Zeratul. It was absolutely fantastic. I maybe we'll see that, but I doubt it. It's probably going to stick with the Cleave VP build. But we will find out as we are heading into game number 2. And it's immediately potentially ruined. Not completely ruined, but on the left-hand side, it is BTG with 619, LLK, Druid, Dancing, and Loktar.
Facing them, currently down 0-1, is the team known as TheOne, with Hugo, Kashi, Meng, ZJZ, and Huohuo. And this is a pretty cool draft here by both teams. Zeratul, we haven't actually seen this guy all day long. Whereas Cassia plus Jaina plus Garrosh plus Tyrande. That is a lot of burst damage as one of the combos goes through.
It's a very cool lineup indeed. So now then, new habits coming in for Blaze. Reyna was holding his level 1, finally ends up picking the ace in the hole. Everything else is pretty normal. The ones that can be varied, Feast on Fear for Diablo. We're seeing the... oh, hang on. We're seeing the Charge Strikes for Cassia, which are already trying to be used for LLK, teleporting away, and the Celestial Attunement for the Tyrande as they try to chase down Druid. Yep, he's dead.
And down he goes. A Malfurion can only walk so fast. In those moments, you missed the old Malfurion that had movement speed at level 1. He probably would have escaped. Anywho, not this time around. And you could actually see 619 there as well, trying to overpower an enemy hero, trying to go for Malthael, but he ended up getting a minion. Those are probably the most humiliating moments in every Diablo's career. Happens sometimes.
It does indeed. So now then, they're going to start on those Siege Giants, the one being a little bit slower with theirs as they are doing the Bruiser Camp. So it's that classic trade-off we see teams see happening more and more these days.
Alrighty then. So first blood going over to TheOne. Let's see what they can make work with it. This time they are actually, like, I think this time it is TheOne, you know, being the slightly more aggressive team. Look at that. Toss denial. Diablo slamming Huohuo into the wall. And all of a sudden the hunter becomes the hunted. Garrosh needs to run and he makes it out alive with 10 HP. You gotta be kidding me. That was clutch.
And that prevents BTG from getting the counter kill and keeps TheOne ahead in XP. Nicely done there, keeping themselves in that small lead that they were able to achieve.
Yeah, really huge, man. If Garrosh falls there, all of their rotations are coming to a stop here, coming to a halt. And even now, what can LLK do to prevent this Dragon Knight from happening? Nothing, it seems. Look at Cassia holding her own against Blaze in the bottom lane, preventing Shrine Control for now. Big move by TheOne.
And Hugo holding the 1v3 in top lane.
Yeah.
Able to keep that going. So that is TheOne's Dragon Knight with over a half-level lead, and it's only going to extend as they kill off towers.
Yeah, that is so huge because they basically, oh, hold that thought here. Nice roots onto Hugo. This time he couldn't burst through the 3 versus 1 anymore. But yeah, the positioning was so huge there for TheOne because they still had all those BTG members locked into those side lanes. So the Dragon Knight could immediately just waltz down the middle, rotate with good health left there as well. So 3 towers and a gate for nothing. Although they lost Hugo, I think TheOne comes out swinging and ahead big time of this.
See you later, Blaze. And that should allow the Dragon Knight to grab the 1 remaining tower before it expires. Oh, it's going to be close, actually. Yeah, Tyrande in a lot of trouble and super dead.
Yeah, there's no way she's going to get out of life. Cute little detail here. 619 was actually running ahead of the Dragon Knight so that the knockback wouldn't really affect him too much in terms of bringing him into a bad spot. So slight mistake by TheOne without a support. I don't think they can do anything to contest this mercenary camp from being taken. 619 scouts nonetheless like a good tank should.
That he does. Keeps everything fine for the moment, as we see bot being started and taken very quickly, in fact, by BTG.
Yep. How much do they actually want to reinforce this push? Looks like they're abandoning it just like that. Siege Giants need to be dealt with, however. So these mercenaries, a nice distraction LLK needs a little bit more time before he comes online. Level 10 is actually going to be a massive power spike if you think about it for BTG with that Void Prison. The roots underneath, the follow-up CC could be huge. Hugo trying to go with a fancy dash. Is he going to get to safety? I think he is.
Yeah. Barely gets out, but that's the important bit. Staying alive so you can keep soaking experience. That's exactly what they're aiming for here. TheOne trying to push in this bottom lane. Zeratul now with Wormhole. It's a classic build. Like we said, no Psionic Strength or Seeker in the Dark style play.
Yeah, which makes sense, you know, especially, you know, with Tirana not going for the Kaldora resistance. That build is going to give you so much value. And at level 20, it's going to be so hard to kill you when you have that additional life leech going on. So, good stuff. No risks, especially not in that game. Look at Cassia just waltzing in like a tank almost. Kashi, full confidence mode.
And how much more can they get from this? Will they be able to make more plays, or is it all about... Is it just all about the towers at this point? With that bot fort down to half, with all the rest of the towers mostly burned down, Owl sees this. Do they risk the engage? Because TheOne, they're still creeping further and further ahead. But BTG picking up a couple kills here. They're trying to bring themselves back in. LLK needs to be really careful, but he's got reinforcements on the way.
Got reinforcements, gives vision over to 619, and the other members gets tossed away. Takes a lot of damage from that Malfurion already. Sorry, from that Malthael. And 619 actually overestimated his own tankiness and ends up falling before anything could really happen. That was a pretty big misplay by him.
And he did. Very interesting to see here, but they do survive, at least for the moment. Big stun onto Kieshi, but that only really delays this recapture, and that might not have been quick enough. That chase just cost them a Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, Loktar basically ruined the Dragon Knight there. He thought that, you know, driving the Cassia away was a little more valuable. I mean, sooner or later, he probably would have had to give it up anyways, because 10 is just so close for them. Still, that could have bought a couple more seconds, maybe. Not a major misplay by any means, because once again, I think the Dragon Knight would have gone over to TheOne anyways because of that level 10, but still, something worth highlighting here. Ooh, man, tanking that tower, tanking that fort like a champ. Doesn't really care about it.
And waves are cleaned up. Not too much trouble there. With heroics already online for TheOne, this is why BTG are being so cautious with their defense right now, especially with Last Rites being one of those heroics. LK needs to be very careful where he stands.
Do you think we're going to see an Apocalypse Void Prison combo here, Tetcher, or do you think it's going to be another, like, slightly more standard Lightning Breath?
Excellent question. I'd hope it's an APOC Void Prison. They need a comeback potential, and that could be exactly what they need.
Malthael, by the way, locking in the Last Rites against juicy, high HP targets like a Blaze or a Diablo. That is certainly very tempting. It is a Lightning Breath. Has a little bit more value with Rainer's bonus damage, of course, but still the Void Prison coming through.
Still pretty decent. Still fine. Rainer holding his for the moment. I would probably like to see Hyperion once again follow up onto that VP. And we're seeing Tranquility, not Twilight Dream. It is a sustained divide and conquer style fight for BTG.
Ah, man, I think I would have liked a Twilight Dream. It's just something, you know, that you always have to make a decision on the spot, and usually Tranquility will give you good value, but in certain situations, man, especially when there's a Malthael nearby, when there's a Cassia in his vicinity, you can actually shut down Malthael's healing, you prevent the Cassia from escaping all too much. So yeah, it's like our Leoric problem, right? Chinese teams especially, they always go Tranquility, they always go March of the Black King, when sometimes the other heroics actually have good value too.
For now though, quick lane clear from Hugo here. They're going to move down to bot lane. TheOne are going to continue to hold their lead with yet another Bruiser camp. More pressure all the time.
I think it's also safe to say that with the removal of Ice Block, Twilight Dream becomes a little less attractive because it requires Malfurion to bring himself into a dangerous position. And beforehand, we all remember the combos, right? You drop the Dream and then just hide in the Ice Block and your teammates are going to mop it up. Now this is not always a possibility anymore.
So, BTG waiting for their moment to strike, waiting to see if anyone of TheOne overextends, but even 619 has to be careful, because He is obviously here, and that means Garrosh could flip anyone over the wall at any moment if they do overextend.
13 is here for TheOne though, so BTG just needs to be a tiny bit more patient Just need to squeeze out a little bit more of experience. But look at that. The Shrines are ready yet again. And immediately, TheOne is positioning themselves in a way that they make sure they have control over both. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of Jaina damage. I'm not sure if BTG can afford to actually go ham like that without a VP. They didn't burn any cooldowns, though. That's important. Neither did TheOne, though. Only Shadowstalk.
Yeah, deciding against the engage. Like you said, very cool move by BTG here, being very patient, which is always nice to see. So now then, Hugo, beginning his channel, LLK. Gets the denial, but Hilda chasing him down. VP has to be used. In the meantime, Locktar dives in. They could try and just blow up Hugo here, but instead they drop the bunker and pull back. In the meantime, Zeratul is heading for top. He can blink over the wall in just a second, but he's going to be too late.
The Hyperion almost interrupted the Malthael, though. That would have been a cool move, and then you could have argued the VP was worth it. But as it is, just to interrupt a Dragon Knight that you can't contest anymore, just to keep Garrosh at bay, that was a big waste of resources here by LLK. Now they're going to have to defend this against a Dragon Knight without Void Presence. How are they going to do this? This is a keep for sure. The question is, can they actually defend the core?
They're moving forward. Here comes the just wrecking of that keep. BTG on the back foot here as they get a good groundbreaker. Huhu is in the perfect position. They're going to try and dive past onto Meng, but into the fray says absolutely not. Here comes the lightning breath to try it and send it through, but Zeratul's been zoned away so hard by the punch of the Dragon Knight, and that continues to be a problem for Dancing.
All right, Shadowstalk keeping them in good shape up to this point here. Jada in particular looking a little more stable right now, but I think TheOne still, right? They want to get that one fountain maybe. Hugo needs to be careful not to overstay his welcome, though. The Dragon Knight gets popped immediately, and is 619 going to pull the trigger and fight back? No, he's not. The fountain died, so calculated risk, I think you could say, for TheOne. Pretty okay, and they're in a commanding lead.
BTG remaining in this game for the moment. They just need to be patient and wait for their opportunity, because actually, no patience. They need to start moving forward, because right now TheOne are approaching level 16. Second you hit that level 14, you're about as close level-wise as you're going to be for a long time. So trying to move in, trying to make a play might be exactly what they have to do.
Yeah, at some point, 16 might be the last saving grace for BTG. It's still, you know, within reach. It's not like they're 3 levels behind. It's not like they're in a terrible spot. They're not in a great spot, but they can certainly stabilize at least a little bit here. Their soaking capabilities are rather limited, though, because, okay, now they do have vision in the top lane, so they know, you know what? 4 members in the top, we're going to trade the bottom for it. Guess that's good for us because we desperately need that experience, whereas TheOne is only going to get 16, which they would have achieved anyway. So a good trade for BTG. Just avoid team fighting for as long as you can, but they have to back down sooner or later, because if they keep it up, that keep would have actually been in threat in top lane already.
And as such, we will see TheOne moving down to the bot lane. Going to grab the Bruiser camp. They know they can just clean up the Siege Giant camps as well. They know BTG won't be there to fight them, even though they wouldn't mind because of that talent advantage.
Yeah, that was actually really smart and really good timing by TheOne there, realizing, you know what? We're just going to roll over there. Our opponents will have probably teleported back already, and we're going to sack in that mercenary camp. And with the keep already gone there, with catapults on the way, this is a lane that BTG will have to respect. And this could even cause so much distraction, so much commotion, that the next Dragon Knight might go over once again to TheOne. And we're slowly but surely, Tetcher, starting to get into that core destructive potential for the Dragon Knight.
It could be. There's always danger of lethal now once we are approaching a talent advantage or even just any open core, like you say. But can they do it? Here is the question.
Oh, they're just letting it go. They're going to have to let it go. Such unfortunate timing for Beyond the Game. They're just barely not 16. Another keep is likely going to fall. This time it looks like TheOne is going for the middle. The Dragon Knight, they realize, is not strong enough to go for, you know, a clean core call just yet. So they're trying to widen their lead even more. However, keep in mind now, even Talons and the Dragon Knight is not the best team fighter. So Beyond the Game could actually try to dive past it and go for the backliner. 619 trying to do exactly that.
Into the fray once again, though, completely shuts him down. Good wall breaker. There's a taunt. They're trying to turn it around, and they get the Malfurion. Tranquility, not enough here. Meng dropping quite low though due to the damage output. Reyna not here. The Hyperion was pretty much all the damage he could offer as he was punted away by the Dragon Knight. The Keep staying alive, and Malveil positioning himself for the post-Dragon Knight last right, taking out the Blaze.
And the Void Prison yet again too late. Where was it when Malfear needed some peeling? Where was it when it came to maybe keeping the Dragon Knight at bay so that Blaze could have escaped? So it didn't really do much. However, the one Hugo is dropping super low. They're trying to distract him. The core still has shields. This is a very ambitious move.
619 gets absolutely shredded, but he's got the 4-second cooldown. Dancing heals himself up a bit. Good knockback, but the core is beginning to drop an immediate turnaround. Wormhole keeping LOK alive as the core drops down to 50%. In comes 619 for the dive. Catapults are arriving, and the core will go down. Good effort on the defense for BTG, but the one take